My name is Robyn Henley. I work in finance at a pharma company. I had 4 brothers and I was closer in age with them, so I definitely did a lot of boyish things. I played video games with them. We played outside and capture the flag, football, that kind of stuff was definitely a part of my childhood. I would say I always had baby fat, so I was just average. Maybe just a little bit of a chubby kid, but not really. I wouldn't call myself a fat kid. My parents signed us up for everything, so I did swimming. I was on a swim team for a couple years. I played soccer for a couple years. I was on a basketball team for a couple years. In middle school, 8th grade, and then a little bit into high school, I was a cheerleader. I couldn't tumble. I tried, but I wasn't the best. But I was actually the flyer, so I was definitely lighter back then. So when I say I'm a family of 7 kids, it's a mixed family. I have 3 blood brothers, 1 stepbrother, and 2 stepsisters. I didn't have the best childhood. I don't always talk about it, but my biological mother is not a part of my life. I don't think I've spoken to her in maybe over 15 years now. Her and my dad got divorced, and it was a really terrible divorce. She was just not a good person, not good to the kids, not good to my dad, and that definitely put an impact on me. The divorce was really bad. We had to talk to lawyers, we had to talk to counselors, social workers, and that's a lot to put on a kid. I think I was 7 when all of that was happening, and because we'd go into these meetings with the lawyers and the social workers, and my little brothers had no idea what was going on and could have said anything, and they didn't know the impact that these type of things would have on our lives. And I gained the weight right after high school, so right in college, yeah. If I think about the why I gained the weight, I think it stems to a relationship I was in. At the end of high school, I met a guy. My parents weren't very fond of him, of course. He was about 5 years older than me, and I had never been in a real relationship before, and I fell for him. So we dated for a long time, for 5 years, and I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good relationship. I didn't think anything bad of it. But looking back, I think I lost myself in that relationship. I kind of turned into whatever person he wanted me to be, and he was very controlling, and I didn't notice it because, I don't know, I was just kind of going with the flow and being whoever he wanted me to be, and I didn't think it was a bad thing necessarily. He didn't really let me have my own life, so his hobbies became my hobbies. What he liked to do became what I liked to do. It was basically whatever he wanted to do that day, we would do, or whoever he wanted to see, we would see. His friends were my friends. I didn't really have my own friends anymore. And I ended up moving in with him, which probably was even worse, just because then he has even more control over me. I realized how unhappy I was and how bad that relationship was and how bad he actually treated me. And all of that coupled with, he didn't eat healthy. He hated vegetables. He just wanted to eat pizza every day. And I didn't care. I didn't know any better. So, we just ate whatever he wanted to eat. And I blew up physically after that. So I gained a lot of weight. And I think it's because of the relationship itself, from being unhappy and not really caring about myself or who I was and losing myself. Also, along with just eating garbage day after day for years. Through high school, I didn't eat that well either, but I always maintained the same kind of weight. Like I said earlier, I was always a little bit. I had baby fat, but I was never large. I don't think people looked at me and said I was fat until that relationship. It wasn't the breakup that changed it for me. Our relationship was really rocky at the end. So it was 5 years, right? And it was really rocky. And I think, I was transitioning in my career. I got a job right out of college with a great company. I didn't even notice I was fat, really. I don't think I cared, or it just didn't affect me because he was my whole life. I didn't matter. He was my life. He mattered. But one day, I stepped on the scale and I was over 200 pounds. And I just think hitting that weight I snapped. Like I looked at the scale and I said, I can't live like this. I can't look like this. I started to make a change then, and it was in the relationship, to better myself physically. And when I started to do that, it started bettering myself emotionally, and I became more stable as my own person instead of just him. And with that happening caused the breakup. It was the most I ever weighed, so I never was over 200 pounds. So that was one thing. Just seeing over 200, I was like I couldn't believe it. I was in shock, first of all. And then at that time, I was just so unhappy, and I knew I was unhappy. I just knew I needed to change my life. And I think stepping on the scale made me realize what part of my life I could start changing right then. There was something I was missing, and stepping on that scale and seeing those numbers just changed it for me. I knew I had to make a change. Honestly, I think I started within a week. I met this girl at work who became a pretty good friend of mine, and she had a wedding coming up. So she had goals she wanted to achieve as well. Weight loss, kind of slimming, trimming, toning kind of goals. And I had very large weight loss goals. So we made a plan together. We joined a gym right by work and made a deal that we were going to go every day after work, so at least 5 days a week. We joined an awesome gym that had classes. So I don't know if I ever stepped foot in a gym before this. So I would have no idea what I was doing if I stepped into a weight room. So we took classes, and I think having that friend kind of helped me jumpstart that whole journey in weight loss and getting fit, staying healthy. When we started, our meals were so boring, right? It was chicken and broccoli, which I couldn't stand for very long. It was, I went from eating mac and cheese and pizza every day, which tastes amazing, to chicken and broccoli, which now I wouldn't say it tastes bad or anything, but it gets so boring. So this sounds so silly, but Pinterest really helped us kind of increase our range for healthy eating. And so we used that to find recipes, and we both fell in love with cooking. I didn't really cook before. Maybe I just made mac and cheese, right? So I just boiled some noodles. I think that's something that a lot of people are afraid of, that when you go from eating super unhealthy to healthy, you think you're eating all this food that just tastes terrible, and even though it's good for you, it's not exciting to eat. And I found that that's not the truth at all. You can make tons of healthy food that tastes awesome. The fact that I stuck with it and people noticed, I think, was what was exciting for me. There was this one moment I remember that was just awesome. I took a trip home to Chicago and visited my old office. I went there and, ran into tons of people, and everyone would say something. But there was one person where I was walking in the hallway and saw this person, and I had worked with him many, many times before. And I just did a casual hey in the hallway, and this guy didn't recognize me at all, and just kind of did like one of those, oh, okay. Walked by, and then I guess he stopped and turned around and was like, Robyn? Like, that's you? Just that. I wasn't even recognizable. I wasn't even the same person. And I think that is what I pinpoint as, being proud of. I changed not only what I looked like, but I definitely grew as a person and changed who I am personally and emotionally. And I became more stable and more positive just as a human being. And my office in Montreal, CrossFit for some reason was huge. A lot of people did it, including the president of the office. One of my good friends there did it, and he was from Chicago, so we kind of bonded over that. He kept trying to get me to do it, and I thought, no way, like, that's so intimidating. Like, I've seen pictures and videos, there's no way I could do that. And one day he convinced me enough, and they were having an open workout type of day, and so he invited me to come. And so I tried it, and it wasn't weightlifting that day, it was easy stuff like box jumps and wall ball shots and burpees. And I fell in love with it. That one day, everyone was there. The atmosphere was exciting and fun, and I went to the gym by myself every day, and it gets kind of boring, right? I'm just sitting there lifting with my headphones in, not talking to anyone, not meeting anyone. In CrossFit, I walk in the door and 7 people shake my hand and introduce themselves, and instantly fell with it. I signed up the next day for an unlimited monthly package. During this journey, this weight loss journey, I found myself again and gained that confidence back. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. I think the one thing is that it's all in your head. Everything is in your head. If you set your mind to it, and if you give yourself the right mindset, and if you set achievable goals, not super long-term goals, because a ton of weight loss is very, very hard. So small goals that you can achieve, short-term goals, and change your mindset. That is all you have to do. You have to believe in yourself and believe that you can do it, and you 100% can.